Hello and welcome back to the Scale Model Pursuit. In today's video, I'm going to assemble and paint a warehouse building for an HO scale train layout. You know, some say that scale modeling is as easy as walking a dog. Okay, so there may be some truth to that, alright? Enjoy the video. With the jokes out of the way, let's lift the lid on this Walther's kit. Now, what makes this model kit exciting for me, even though it's all a bunch of flat panels, you've got corrugated metal roof, you've got brick, you've got stone, you've got wooden window frames, you've got windows, all these different textures that you can have a lot of fun with that you don't get in model cars, model aircraft. So I would encourage you to try building a building one time, and it's a lot of fun. And there's also not 4 million parts in here. That's another nice thing. If you're needing a break from an aircraft or a car model, maybe give one of these a shot. This step here isn't actually required. I'm only cutting away this panel just so I can run some LED lights up into that dormer in the future. Here I'm using a gray primer just to prime the surface, but it's also going to become the grout color between the bricks and also between the stones. Any gray primer will work, including airbrushing, but in this case with these large parts, I like to use a can. This is another case where I'm being intentional about the primer color I'm using. With this being a metal roof, I'm using a black primer to give it an aged patina. This is really part of the weathering process, already starting with just the primer layer. For the panels that have shingles, I'm starting out at a real shallow angle so the airbrush can spray the paint up underneath, so to speak, the ends of the shingles, so I don't have kind of little gray spots left over after I'm done painting. And then I use the same Mr. Surfacer black primer on the dormer panels. And here I'm taking the metal panel now and spraying aluminum color at a real shallow angle to pick up the very top surfaces of each rib of the metal panel. Now with the German gray, I'm doing the opposite. I'm spraying across the top of each shingle and it just highlights each one. For the inside walls of the building, I'm just painting the entire surface with a dull red color just to represent you being able to see the brick on the inside. Won't be very visible, but at least when you look through the windows of the building, you'll see what looks like brick. It's time to measure and cut out a evergreen styrene sheet to close out the floor of the building. As the model kit comes, if you look through the windows, you would see right down into the ground inside the building, so I wanted to cover that up. This is one of the thinnest sheets. I don't remember the exact thickness, but it's very thin. And I'm starting with this because I can glue it plastic to plastic, and then I'm going to cover that with a piece of thin veneer wood. paint the brick walls, I loaded some light rust colored paint onto the wet palette, and I took a foam brush and started to work a little bit of paint into it and then lightly drag across the top surface of all the bricks. The idea is to maintain the grout lines in gray and only highlight the tops of the bricks. To add a little variety to the brick, I used this Vallejo weathering kit. It has some perfect colors in it for picking out different bricks, some dark, some light, using oranges and browns and a little bit of red. And I really like how the effect ended up turning out. Installing Windows was never this easy. Fortunately, breaking windows was never this easy either. Just take your hobby knife and score some lines on the panel. Hello, and thank you for watching the Scale Model Pursuit. If you're still watching at this point, chances are you liked the video. So if you could, go ahead and hit that like button. Some say hitting the like button is as easy as flying an RC plane. Oh man. Let's face it, hitting the like button is way easier than flying an RC plane. And besides, I'll be glad you did it. Along with the wooden pallets, I wanted to make a crate so I could ship the old man's major award. There could be anything in there.